Instead of 30 minutes ago when we had time, do it now when he's busy. That's way better. Yeah. Hey, stop what you're doing that pays you very well and come do something that doesn't pay you anything. Takes you away from your family. But we need it. You feel good? All right. All right, Mike, here, let's do this. Huh? Mike down? Oh, he's Mike, too.
Hi.
I was like, get down, dude.
Okay.
There, that's good right there. You feel good? Welcome to the Youngblood podcast. My name is Joshua Clifton, and I'm here with a good friend, a great friend, Michael Osborn from CITY of Auburn. What's up, dude?
How are you, man?
It's great to see you. We haven't seen each other really
like 3 years.
It's weird because we're only we're so close to each other, but things have happened.
I think the last time I saw you was on tour.
Was that the last time we saw each other?
That's my last memory of I think Ross getting pulled over. Like we were all we were like 30 feet away from your home and we got pulled over.
That is right. Yeah. I forgot about that. Ross, I'm sorry. You did get pulled over. Was that our trip to Nashville?
That was with the Idol guy, the American Idol guy.
That's right.
Yeah.
Cade Phoner.
And
that
then,
was barely a tour.
Yeah,
that was barely anything.
It was awesome because
Yeah.
it was you, me, Tyler.
That's right. Tyler.
Tyler.
played with us.
It was like a 3-piece thing the entire time, right?
Yeah, and then Ross played. Did he play with us at one of the shows?
At the Mockingbird one.
Yeah, in Houston. No, in Nashville.
Yeah, that was Nashville. Yeah, Mockingbird in
yeah.
Nashville, because that was the only one. That was the only night on tour I remember us all being in one big row in the front of the stage.
That's right.
Because I was like,
Mockingbird Theater in
yeah.
Franklin, Tennessee.
Because when the drums are already set up, and as a drummer, like I'm always trying to like, I can't just set the drums up in front of the other drums that are already on stage, because
Right.
then the singer just has no room to breathe. So
Exactly.
I always look at it like set up sideways, and the aesthetic always ends up being cooler.
Right.
Like
I agree.
every band I've ever seen that sets up sideways is way cooler.
I agree.
Completely.
Let me introduce you a little bit for those that haven't, because he has played with Ravenhill. But you're a great drummer. But
Thank you.
might even, I don't even know if this is an insult or a compliment, might be even better frontman. It seems like that's where you feel at home.
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel okay. This is weird, but I feel like both come with a different sense of comfort and pressure.
Yeah.
Because like when you're the drummer, usually you're with the backtracks, and
Right.
it's like if you get off the backtrack, the band is screwed, or you know, like
Unless it's Ravenhill, you don't have any back.
Yeah,
backing
you guys
tracks.
are the most calculated jam band of all time, and I've always like that's what I got from that is like learning. Oh man, I freaking forget what song it was. It's like track 4
okay.
off of whatever record,
Yeah.
Soul or whatever.
Uh-huh.
It's the most calculated jam band session.
Devil's Son,
Yes.
probably.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom,
No,
down,
it took me
yeah.
forever to get that down.
Yeah.
But
you did
like,
great. You always knocked it out of the park.
it was so much, dude. Okay, I remember audio feed. I remember being in the van for with City of Auburn, and we were kind of going over our stuff, and I get a call from you, and you're like, "Hey man, so like one of the bands dropped out, main stage." And Ravenhill got asked to be on that spot. I'm like, that's amazing. Congratulations. And you're like, well, our drummer can't make it anymore.
That's right.
And you were like, here's the set. Can you play it tomorrow?
And you did great.
And,
He did great.
It was the coolest call because like everyone in City of Auburn knows that I've played bands for everybody.
Right.
Like I've always been in like 15 bands at a time playing drums for whatever. And we had a conversation going up to audio feed, and it was like, how does it feel to be at a festival and only playing with one band? and then like
Just wait. There's more.
and that was one of the hottest shows I've ever played.
Oh, it was
Unreal.
ungodly awful.
It was
hot, but it was fun.
Oh, it was awesome. Like
Yeah.
incredible memories, but like yeah, City of Auburn. I mean, okay, like being the drummer for anybody comes with its own pressure. Because in my mind, like I've always been of the opinion that if the drummer of your band is bad, your band is bad.
Agreed.
I've always been on that side of the fence. If your
too.
drummer is mediocre, your band's mediocre.
It's hard to fight a bad drummer.
Yeah, like if you have a bad bass player, you just turn it down a little bit. It's fine.
Yeah.
If you have a bad vocalist, you can always say, well,
live,
sore
baby.
throat.
It's
Yeah,
rock and
exactly,
roll,
punk
you
rock.
know?
If you have a bad drummer, there's just no,
Yeah.
there's
It's
no
too
excuse
obvious.
for it. Exactly. So like I've always been like, if I'm bad, then everyone else on this band is bad. But if everyone else on this stage is having a bad day, but if I bring more energy,
Yeah,
I can elevate kind of the energy of the moment.
that's true.
And I freaking remember there was one song. It's like the one. It's not the one we used to end on. Maybe it was the one we used to end on. I forget all the titles.
Blood on the Church Floor is what we would end on sometimes, or Howl.
I think it was how.
It's the one that starts boom, chick, boom. chick.
Yeah.
And there's
yes.
also Sweet Vanity, which is a rock. I don't think you.
I don't think I
that
played that one.
Yeah.
I remember Blood. I remember how. I think it was how.
It has been a while. Man.
Yeah,
I don't blame you for not knowing any of these things. Brady's been in the band forever and still doesn't know any of our song names.
It's yeah. I think it was how, but like it's like a 6-minute long song or something.
Yeah,
and like
yeah,
for
that's
4
it.
minutes I don't play. I do maybe do like Simple Swells
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah.
But I
You're
remember
right.
being on the stage at Audio Feed like shirt off, pale as a ghost.
Yeah.
And like I'm sitting on the back of the stage just it's so hot. And then like my bass drum pedal, the second that we started playing Howl, my bass drum pedal breaks.
Oh,
and,
no,
and so I was playing the floor tom like as the bass drum.
As the bass drum.
And when
Yeah.
you uploaded whatever video of that performance or whatever, like you can hear it happen. And I don't know if anyone else noticed, but I noticed. And
I'm going to go back and listen.
Yeah.
I'm going to repost it for this podcast. so
Because
we
like
can...
you will see it where like the bass drum will just stop, and then my left hand becomes the bass drum on the floor tom.
That's great.
And I'm like, I have to make this work because if the drummer's bad, this whole thing goes down, and I have
Well,
to
you
make
killed
it.
it,
Like,
dude.
it was so much fun.
Yeah.
But I feel if you are, the pressure that comes with a drummer is you kind of represent everybody in a way that you keep everybody interlocked.
Right.
When you're a singer, you represent everybody because you're the thing that everybody's looking at constantly.
Right.
But you're not carrying the band necessarily.
Right.
You're carrying yourself. You're trying to be energetic and charismatic and everything.
You're the
but, like,
icing on the cake.
You're the icing on the cake, but you got to make sure the cake's good.
Yeah.
And when your drummer messes up or something, you can crack a joke. You can kind of like support it.
Right.
But like, if you're like, there's just a different pressure to being a vocalist than a drummer.
It's
but
true.
We went on a total ramble, but
That's all this podcast is, buddy, is a
Perfect.
big ramble.
I do feel more at home being a vocalist. I feel like
Well,
the
you're great at
pressure-
it. You're great at both,
Thank you.
but you can tell when I saw City of Auburn, his band. We've talked about Ravenhill too much already, but his amazing band, City of Auburn. When I saw you do that, I go, yep, that's it. That's what he's supposed to be doing. That's where you
Thank you.
are speaking from your soul, your heart, whatever. Like that's where you are doing. There's something I have a hard time explaining this to people that aren't in bands or aren't in something creative where it comes from somewhere inside them. But whenever I'm with Ravenhill or other past bands where I felt like I was speaking my soul out, I can't explain that euphoric feeling, that sense of purpose that you
Yes.
go, oh, I'm cocky enough to say, like, right now, no one's doing rock and roll like we are right now. In this moment,
Yeah.
we are doing it.
Yeah.
And we're keeping that alive. We're burning that torch or whatever. And in 30 minutes, someone else will be doing it better than we are. But right now, no one's doing it. And that's how I feel in that moment. That like, oh, if Moses had to part the Red Sea at that moment, that's what's happening because that's
Right.
what you're
Yes.
supposed to be doing.
Yes.
You know. So name all the bands real quick. So
Oh my God. I'm totally gonna forget. Okay, so
you're gonna forget something. And this is on me because if I had been asked this, I'd be like, golly, there's gonna be so many good
it's
bands.
like
I
how
forgot.
many years of people
Yeah,
that
yeah.
I've known. So
Yeah.
like, okay, so officially, I sing for a band called City of Auburn.
Yes.
I play bass for a hardcore band called Crucify the Flesh.
Yes.
I play drums for a progressive melodic death metal band called Diathek.
Do you think?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's Greek or Hebrew for covenant or something.
Okay,
It's
that's
dope.
awesome.
It's technically Diatheke, but we're American, so it's
Right.
just Diathek. And those are my three like officials.
Okay.
I played with my buddy Jared Adloff.
Yes.
He's awesome, but like his solo
Great
thing
dude.
is kind of like, oh, I love him to death. His whole family has been awesome.
Yeah.
I've played and toured with him a whole bunch, but like he's back with his old band,
Mhm.
so you know the solo thing's kind of died down, which is totally fine.
Yeah. That guy has a lot of creative. He has a lot of creativity in him, and I think he
Yeah,
wants
yeah,
to
yeah.
create,
Mhm.
and I love that. I love
Yeah,
that he
me-
has that to put out.
Jarrett has like something else he's working on that all of the Jared Adloff members are going to be a part of, but it's going to be something completely different.
Oh,
and I
cool.
don't really know if I could
Yeah,
say
yeah,
it
yeah.
or whatever. but,
Hopefully,
like,
I almost had him on here last year. I had a flat tire on the way to his house. that I was gonna do it.
oh, yeah.
And we haven't rescheduled yet, but I'll have him on here if he will be.
Jared,
I'd love
Jared's
to have him.
the bomb.
I know,
I love
yeah.
that dude so
And
much.
I know he just recently had some health issues, but he's on the recovery. But shout out to that dude. He's great.
Oh, dude, like, yeah, I kind of, he won't care. So like he had like, he had like something on his nose.
Yeah,
And
he
I-
posted about it.
Yeah, and so he's already made this public.
Yeah,
I could
yeah,
talk
yeah,
about
yeah,
it
yeah.
openly on a podcast. He had something on his nose, like some sort of like cyst
Yeah.
or something. And he realized that he couldn't breathe out of his nose. He couldn't smell anything. So he went into an ENT. And he was just like, hey, this thing is like messing up everything. And the doctor like opened up his mouth and was just like, actually, that has nothing to do with anything that you're feeling right now. That's just like an aesthetic thing at this point. Like, your tonsils need to be removed right now.
So it was like two separate things that were just messing with
completely separate from that. So like he was like, you know, you have, I forget what it's called, the turbulence.
I read his post and I forgot. I wish I knew.
Yeah, I forget what they're called. I think they're called turbulence or whatever. I forget. But those muscles needed to be decreased because it's causing too much pressure, and then your tonsils need to be removed immediately. And then they're like, and we can also get rid of the bump while we're at it. So like,
had too many muscles is what you're saying.
Too many muscles. Yeah, he's just too powerful that he couldn't breathe anymore.
There you go. It's like inhibiting his breathing. He got too ripped.
So Jarrett did surgery on both airways.
Yeah, and within like a month or so, right?
Yeah, he had all the surgeries at the same time.
Oh, okay, so both times they were like,
So this dude cannot freaking eat, cannot breathe, cannot, like the only thing he could get down was like some soup from some hibachi place. So I bought him like 15 bowls of that. And was like, you go get better. But he's killing it now. He just went on the road a few weeks ago. But I used to play drums for him.
Yeah.
I guess I still do. I will again.
Right. And his band, if you guys want to check out his band, is Offended by Everything.
Yeah.
Great band, great friends of the podcast.
Perfect band. Yeah. I played for Words for a bit. That was fun.
That's right.
Oh man, I played drums at church.
Yeah. I feel like there are like 14 other bands we're not thinking about.
Yeah, right? I'm drawing a blank.
It's okay. I'll put you on the spot.
But those are the ones that I feel like are, I guess, the most relevant to me now.
I feel like you're often busy, and I love that because you're talented, and I like seeing talented people, creative people busy. But let's. That was just the appetizer. All right, let's get into the podcast. All right, the podcast, if you're just joining us for the first time, is I talk to my creative friends or people I've met who I find interesting and talk to them about their creative journey and the soundtrack or art that led them here. So one of the first questions I normally ask is there comes a time whenever we're all fans of art, whether it's music or movies or whatever, where we want to quit being someone that just takes it in and we think that we might be able to make it. Do you remember that first time where you heard a piece of art where it goes, hey, I think I want to try my hand at this? Do you know what that is? Could be an album, could be a song, could be someone gave you a guitar, could be...
I think, so...
Could be church.
It might not be maybe a song or an album, but I was homeschooled, so like me and my parents spent a lot of time together, and I was raised, you know, everything had to be Christian media. Yeah. You know, so like Christian music, Christian, we had GodTube, we didn't have YouTube, which is the worst. That site is a virus. It is awful. GodTube.
Wow.
It was like YouTube, but like 240p quality, like just and I was just like
record on a VHS.
Yeah, record on a VHS,
or Betamax,
and I had to basically beg for a while. I think I was maybe 4th or 5th grade. I had to like beg to get a MySpace.
Okay.
And the only bands that I really heard were bands that my dad or my older brother would introduce to me, and they would always be Christians. So like, I am a Skillet lover.
Skillet,
for better or worse. Skillet has released some of the worst records in the past decade. They are some of the most horrendous records. Each year. So me and my brother, we always are excited for the next Skillet record because we listen to it and then we just rant about it very angrily for like hours afterwards, talking about how bad it is, and it's keep getting worse. But like, this is a hill I'll die on. Comatose and Collide from Skillet are two of the best rock records ever written.
I think Kalen said this on a past episode too.
I hope that he did, because
This is
I
just
think
gonna
I've
be-
talked with him about this.
I'm sure you
before.
guys have.
Because Comatose is a flawless rock record, and they have never been able to make anything of it better. I messed up the words.
No, it's all right.
They have not been able to make,
top that at all.
to top it in
Or-
any way,
or
shape,
replicate
or form.
it.
No, not at all. And but Skillet was like Skillet was my first concert.
Okay, that's
and,
awesome.
It was so funny. It was Skillet, I think, right before Comatose was going to come out.
Okay.
And it was when Decipher Down like just came on. So they had their
Okay.
old vocalist. Their first record was out. It was awesome. And I saw them at some theater in Colorado, and because I used to live in Colorado before I lived in Texas. But I remember once I finally got my MySpace page, and I was looking at all of like Skillet's friends, and I
Yeah.
would see like Day of Fire and Fireflight and Pillar and Stellar Cart, like all like the Christian youth group type music. I remember being in front of my computer, looking at all these bands, and
You just go to Skillet's top 8.
yeah, like
Okay.
I would just see what else is out there. And
That's great.
I remember having this epiphany of looking at like Fireflight's page and being like, oh my gosh, like this band's really good, like really good. Let's see how many albums they have, and like let me collect all the
Yeah.
CDs and stuff. And then I realized they only had one album, and I was like, wait a second, new bands can form? Because I just always thought music and bands were just a thing that have already established. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
like bands are just like this is just your options. And they've been around for a long time, and they keep making music. And I just kind of like, I just had this epiphany like in 4th grade, like, wait,
I could start a band.
I could start a band, because they started a band. This is their first record. They're out on the road. They're doing the thing that I want, and they just started.
and they're friends with a band that you know is solid.
Yeah.
And touring and making money and
Exactly.
living on this.
Yeah. I just remember feeling like, wait, new bands are still forming.
Yeah, that's good.
And I remember I grew up on a lot of CCM, but the artists that,
So did I, man.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I feel
don't
like
be
a lot of
ashamed
people
it.
like, oh, I'm totally not.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's like I got no problem feeling like I could only buy CDs from Mardell or Christian family stores or whatever.
Yeah.
But Stephen Curtis Chapman's album Declaration, I still think that's his best record. I know people
So
say
good.
Speechless. I think it's Declaration, and I just remember listening to that record. Okay, it's like I have this very fond memory of living in Colorado, and I would blast Declaration on my parents' sound system while playing Star Wars Shadows of the Empire on the Nintendo 64. And it's just like, because like I played Shadows of the Empire so well that I could just play it on mute. Like I didn't need any of the audio or the dial, so I would just blast Stephen Chris Chapman while playing that game. And I just
Playing
remember,
video games and listening to music has got to be one of the oldest, like, greatest combinations for kids doing music, right?
Yeah.
Or childhood. Because and it had to start with, like, what was that skating game? Well, not Tony Hawk, but yes, Tony Hawk, but there was like 180 or something like that. Go ahead. It was like a snowboarding game and a skating game that did it too. One of the first ones, and I remember going, this is a great combination. And I just did it from then on.
I think that when you take out the music from the game and insert your own music, you get your own experience out of it.
For sure.
And
For
I just
sure.
remember like having the emotional appeal of like Steven's music that I was attached to so well, on top of like my favorite franchise ever at the time, Star Wars. So like I just remember walking away from those experiences being like, I just want to create music, and I want to do it somehow, in some way, shape, or form. And it just took me forever to kind of like realize that I have the ability to do that, or have the ability to speak about maybe what I want to create.
Yeah.
And I feel like the art that I resonate with the most is just the stuff that I can walk away with something that's like I'm not saying that all art doesn't matter.
Right.
Because I think that like art matters to everybody in different facets.
Right.
You know.
Agreed.
However, like there's a difference between like no one's on their deathbed thinking about like listening to Mac Sabbath or something. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
no one's talking about like, I
Maybe
remember
there's one person
Maybe
out there.
you know what? There probably is
There's
one
probably
person.
been one person who goes, God, if I could listen to one more Mac Sabbath song before I died, that would be awesome. If you don't know, Mac Sabbath is a McDonald's themed Black Sabbath cover band, correct?
Yeah, something. Yeah.
Basically. and it is wild.
It is awesome. but I don't like walk away from like art like that because
Right.
it is art and it's comedy but it's not meant to be like introspective or retrospective.
Right.
It's
not supposed to really find your soul and jostle
Yeah.
it around and go, oh, I think I see the world differently now.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I've always been attracted to things that have made me think very deeply about things, or
Right.
very retrospective, introspective.
That comes out in
challenges
your
me.
music, by the way.
And I feel like good because all I want to do is to create things that I feel matter in
Yes.
some way, shape, or form. And that's not to say that fun art doesn't matter, but for me, like having something that can, like, if someone can walk away, I just want people to cry. I just want people to cry over what I do, and like walking
That's
away,
good.
like, you know, that really touched me, or that
Right.
really, you know, and that's what I want people to carry with them. And I just remember feeling like the music I was raised on had a standard at the time where that was the intention or the goal.
Right.
And I remember Stephen Chris Chapman kind of being that conduit.
That's great. That's not who I thought you would start with. That's
Nobody
great.
thinks that.
That's
Everyone
great.
thinks it's probably like Paramore in high school, which
Yeah.
that played a massive part on me.
Right.
You know, but like I still listen to Declaration still to this day.
That's great,
I
dude.
listen to it like it kills me it's not on vinyl.
Oh,
None of
yeah.
Stephen Chris Chapman's records are on vinyl besides his first two.
I wonder why that is.
It's because Christians are stupid. No, I was gonna say like it's because
They don't collect vinyl.
they don't. Christians don't collect vinyl,
No,
and if they
no.
do, it's all Bethel and it sells
Yeah,
out and whatever.
yeah.
It's all hipster stuff.
Yeah.
But like,
I mean, some of us do, but I mean, but not the royal we don't.
no, not at all. I'm a massive vinyl lover, so like
Same.
having.
And you worked? Do you still work there?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. And you work at a vinyl pressing.
Yeah,
plant.
I just came here from there.
Nice.
Oh, this is crazy. This might be a side thing, but I'm pressing Falling Up.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay, Falling Up's my favorite band of all time.
I have stories about Falling Up that surely we talked about,
Oh
right?
my god, I don't even know if I want to. You know, I told my parents it's fine. I'll tell the story.
This is great. This is the stuff we want to get into, buddy.
Okay, so I wanted to press Falling Up so bad. I love Falling Up to death. They're my favorite band. And they broke up in 2016, and they
Yeah.
did a vinyl release for their last record, limited to 100 units.
Real quick, are they reuniting and did a record, or is this
So-
a new reissue?
It's like they're reissuing the independent records on vinyl right now.
Okay.
Which is like I'm pressing all of them.
Great.
But
Adam
they
Taylor and Micah Sannon, are they involved?
no, it's basically just Jesse.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah,
right.
it's just Jesse. But like, I hit him up years ago, like 2-ish years ago, because he made a post and he was like, "Hey man," or he basically just said to his Instagram followers, does anyone want Falling Up vinyl?" And I messaged him immediately and I said, "I want to press it.
Yeah.
I want to make the disc," because I don't know how I worded it, but I was like, no one is gonna do a better job than me.
No, this is great because you get to be a part of the art that made you who you are.
No, exactly. Like
That is
Falling
so
Up-
freaking cool.
No, it was mind blowing that he even responded, and
Yeah.
so he was doing like this. He was doing a Kickstarter for like the D&D style, a D&D style role playing game on Kickstarter, and he made the soundtrack for it. And
Oh, that's cool.
so they were doing like a vinyl release for it, and he was like, "Let's do this first before we focus on Falling Up." I'm like, I'm totally fine with it.
Yeah.
I'll press whatever you want because I love you. And so we did that project, and then he came back, and he was, you know, this was like 8 months later. He came back and was like, "Hey, let's do some Falling Up records," and I'm stoked. I'm so stoked.
That's awesome. Congratulations on
it's
that, dude.
amazing.
I'm so happy for you.
When he was like, this is where it gets good. Whenever Jesse was like, "Hey, like let's do Falling Up records," I was put in a group chat with him and his wife,
Okay.
and which is just mind blowing to me. Not only do I get to know you, but like you give a piece of like your family, and
Yeah, you
but
get a look
yeah.
behind the curtain.
his wife is his manager,
Oh, that's great.
and so she does a lot of like all that financial
Mm-hmm.
stuff and licensing, and they're a good musical family. And they had been texting me for like days over like, can we do this? Can we do that? And like I had been talking to them pretty consistently for 6 days. And I was just loving it, just being as professional, but also like being very open. Like, I love your music so much,
Right.
But also I just want to press you guys some records. Trying to be like, I'm being open that I'm a fanboy, but also like you are, like, I'm supplying a service.
I'm a mature fanboy.
I am a mature fanboy.
Because this is the same thing for like I've done this. Like if I've told my wife already.
Mm-hmm.
If I meet any of my heroes, I'm not going to ask for a picture.
Right.
But I would love if she's there to grab a picture of us talking or something like that. But don't stop us.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be. I
don't want something posed. Like,
Right.
I just want the moment to be
I
captured.
want the moment. I'd rather enjoy this moment we're having instead of me doing. But the inside of me is doing everything it can not to be
Yes.
the like, oh my God!
I'll never forget the moment that I was in my car and Jesse was like, I forget if I gave him my number or he gave me his number, and I was in my car and I just see my text, like Jesse Ribordi was like, oh, thank you so much for the information, brother.
And you're going,
I was just like about like
It
don't
moved a little.
don't make me crash this car. But I put in a group chat. We've been talking for days over like really cool vinyl stuff that I just thrive on. And then, you know, they live in Oregon, Portland or Albany or whatever. They're 2 hours behind us. So it's later here than it is there. So it's like 10:30 at night. They text me. It's 8:30 there. They still got daylight or whatever. And they were like, hey, we want to put some sort of like limited edition type sticker or gold foil, or like out of 300 type thing. And we had been going back and forth on like some ideas like that. And so they were like, do you have any examples of stuff that you've done that has like this sort of vibe or whatever? I'm like, totally, like give me like a minute or so. I go over to my shelf. I get up out of bed because I was like going to bed. Get up out of bed and I go to my vinyl shelf. And I start taking pictures of like all the records on my shelf that like we've pressed or have like a limited edition type feel to it.
Which so many, I bet.
Oh, so
you have
many.
So many working at a press.
So many.
So jealous.
And I sent them some pictures and they were like, okay, I love this. I love that.
Yeah.
Do you have anything like this? And I send them some more pictures and then the text conversation just kind of stops. And at that point, it's midnight where I'm at. It's 10 o'clock where they're at. You know. They've got kids. They got day jobs. They have a house. They got kids to feed. Like they're in bed. The next day, I don't hear from them at all.
Okay.
And I'm like, that's just kind of weird because I've been talking to them like every day.
Right.
And I was kind of going through my phone. I was clearing out stuff in my phone. And what I had not realized is that one of the pictures that I had sent them in our text exchange, one of the pictures that I took, at the very bottom of the photo, it's my entire penis. My kneecaps, my feet.
This is such a good story, dude. Thank you for sharing it.
So
you
once
sleep
I
naked.
So upon finding the photo in my phone, I cross-checked it with the text, and not only did I send that photo once, I sent it twice.
Just hey guys, I really like you.
And can't you
I'm a
tell?
big falling fan.
And so, upon realizing this,
How did you recover from this? Are we
Okay.
still getting the vinyl, buddy?
oh yeah. So I am
Did you freak out?
mortified.
Yeah.
It was like I am hyperventilating in my room, sweating, cannot calm down, cannot stop shaking. I am pacing, and I call Jesse immediately. He does not pick up.
Well, I don't think he would. Yeah, I think he
I
needs
call
a
him.
moment.
I call him 30 minutes later from that. He still does not pick up.
Yeah.
I'm freaking out. And I go into my brother's room. He lives, in the same house. My younger brother, Nick. I go into my brother's room and I'm like, hey man, I need you to block my number real quick. I'm like, why? I'm like, I need to see the difference between calling a blocked number and an unblocked number. And if you call a blocked number, it'll just go directly to voicemail. Jesse's rang twice. So I know he hasn't blocked me. And he's still following me on social media and all that kind of stuff. So I'm kind of like,
I'm so sorry.
No,
This is
it's so
funny.
good.
I'm so sorry because I know you, and I know that you're a sweetheart. You're a great dude. This is not you, but to be in this situation must be the worst feeling. That, like you
Because I would never
finally
do
got through the
something-
door. You
Yeah.
finally got through the door of someone you look up to, and then you go, oh, oh God. What have I done? I should wear pants. I haven't taken off pants since.
no, okay. The thing that kills me is that was like one of the first photos I took. I didn't even realize it when I looked at the photo.
And you kept sending?
No, so yeah, I sent that photo twice, but like I kept taking pictures of other stuff that I did. Like the third example, I realized I was taking pictures of my penis because like I got up out of bed and was just, oh yeah, let me take a picture real quick and like let me, because the lighting, whatever. That third photo, I saw my dick at the bottom of the photo, and I was like, oh, I should delete that so that doesn't get sent anywhere.
Oh my
But I'd
gosh.
never realized it on the one that I sent. So at this point, I can't sleep. I can't eat. I can't.
How could you?
I am sweating so hard. And I'm like, I have to end this day. This is ridiculous. So I sent Jesse a text.
Or my life.
or my life. I genuinely thought I was going to lose my job. I genuinely thought I was going to lose my life.
Oh yeah. Because
this is like business. This is
you're a
business.
representative of the job of the.
Yeah, don't say I work at you know whatever. But
Yeah.
I get down to a point where I just type up this massive message to Jesse, and oh my gosh, I almost want to read it because it's so good.
Yeah, do it. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to figure out what would be the equivalent of this for me. Oh my, I'm so glad you're a wordsmith because that's gotta get. You had to write something good to go, hey buddy, I am so sorry.
So
What if you were mad that that it wasn't very flattering picture, and that was why you were it was a cold
hey man,
night,
I can get
buddy.
you a way better angle
Yeah,
if you'd like.
There's better lighting for my dick pics over here.
Okay,
I got
so
a
this
strong game.
This is what I sent him.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry if I call that a bad time. I'm just now realizing that one of the photos I sent in the group chat for the vinyl has a portion of my body in it, making it completely and massively inappropriate. I was clearing my photos when I came across it, and I wanted to resolve it instantly with you. I cannot even begin to express my crippling embarrassment and shame. I didn't even notice it when I was sent the picture. I only noticed it a few moments before I called you. It's still no excuse to let that slip into a chat with you and your wife. I am beyond sorry. And then I just basically go, I can't delete it from the chat, so I'd really appreciate it if you could delete it for me.
Right.
And I am asking you if you could forgive me. He texts me back an hour later with screenshots of where the photo was, and now it's deleted. And he was like, basically, long story short, don't be embarrassed at all. Like, we had been so busy all day, we haven't even opened up those text messages yet.
Praise God.
They didn't even know about it, dude. And he's like, I went and deleted it. It's good. Like we're all good. Like he was like, shit happens.
That's so good.
And he was like, we know you didn't mean it. It was clearly an accident. Like you're good.
So if I eventually get the Ravenhill vinyl, can I get a picture of your dick too?
I'll send you so many examples, bro.
Yeah, but can it have a limited edition
dick sticker?
Oh my gosh, that is
yeah.
so good.
No, today I just finished my third project with him.
That's great. Oh man, this speaks volumes about him. I would say that like even if they had opened it,
right,
and they gave you the hey, don't worry about it, because I would almost want to give you some solace. Of saying like, hey dude, don't worry about it. We didn't even see anything. Blah, blah, blah. Even though I'd go, is that his dick? And my wife, did he just send his dick?
Everyone
he
that
really
I've
likes
told,
our band, doesn't he?
Everyone that I've told the story to have been like, dude, they had to have laughed. They absolutely, because it's
How
so
do you not?
Clearly an accident.
Yeah.
And dude, you want to see it?
I would love to.
Yeah, I got a censored version and uncensored. Which one you want?
I'll take either or.
All right.
This is great. This is a great podcast. Well, it'll be in the show notes. Check it out.
It's
so good. This is gonna be the first time I've ever seen a dick pic on my podcast.
Right,
that's a big moment. You wish you had this? This is more of your kind of podcast material, I think.
That's what I sent them.
Wait. That's so good.
My feet, my thighs,
awesome.
my dick,
That's
just
so
all on the
good.
bottom of the photo.
This is what we give you here at this.
You're in good hands here.
Yeah, you are. We're very precise. We go all in. Okay, we have nothing to hide.
We lay it all out there.
We lay it all out here for you. Come make your vinyl with us. That is so good, dude.
Yeah,
that is so good.
I know. So I mean, Falling Up is one of the most influential bands on me in my entire life, and I just never would have thought, in being third, fourth grade, watching the Angel Wars Special Edition DVD music videos. It's like Sanctus Real and Falling Up and whatever, and just thinking that dude's gonna see my dick one day.
Yeah. One day, if I do anything,
that dude is
life,
gonna have to delete my dick out of his wife's phone one day. Would have never believed you.
Oh my god. If you had a time machine, you think you'd go back and go, hey, dude, double check pictures before you send them out.
Oh, dude. It's like, why does this stuff happen to me?
Hey, yeah, you go ahead and keep the feet in, all right?
Double trouble here.
That's so good.
Oh, my God.
So after, let's backtrack a little bit. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. If you want to cut it out later, I understand.
Oh man. I don't feel like I should.
It's too good, to be honest with you.
It's way too good.
It's what's going to go viral.
I know. That's what I'm scared of. If like 10 people hear it, then that's great. But if like thousands, it's like, oh no.
You're like, oh, I'm a big fan of City of Auburn. I'm a big fan of seeing that guy's dick. I've been going to every show just
City of Auburn.
Something.
That singer's a piece of shit. Sends unsolicited dick pics to people. And
You couldn't be more wrong about a guy if that's what you think about this guy.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. That is so good. Well, that's my Falling Up story is not going to compare to that at all. I mean, there's no reason to go there.
I had my time believing hope is far.
realized once you got a MySpace, went to Skillet and then
Skillet.
Flyleaf, that you could start a band.
Yeah.
How much at what age were you then?
I was homeschooled. It was probably fourth or fifth grade.
So that would roughly be about like 12,
Yeah.
13? Is that right?
Yeah, because like, well, no.
No, it's
it
like
would've
more
been
like 9.
10. Yeah.
9 or 10, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What did you want to do first? Did you
I,
want to sing, guitar?
So
piano,
I
drums?
wanted to be a vocalist.
Okay.
I wanted to be the center of attention. I wanted to be like the rock star or whatever. And my older brother John, he's a musical genius.
He is.
He's like,
we've listened to his stuff.
yeah, he's done compositions for video games.
Yeah.
He's just so good at what he does. And
What's the name of his joke project?
Oh, so he plays guitar with me in Diathek.
Yes.
He writes everything. It's kind of like his brainchild. But he has a side project called Dr. Brutacalypse.
That's it. Because we tried little how the sausage made here at Honey Gold. We are in the process of sausage reference. It's great. How the kielbasa is laid out there here at Honey Gold. We're working on a new show called In the Groove, where it's almost like you put a vinyl down and the camera goes completely, it goes around the whole time, and we sit around and show each other music and everything. We tried this last month, and we listened to your brother's band, Dr. Brotac.
Oh my god.
Brutacalypse.
Brutacalypse. Yeah.
Brutacalypse.
Brutacalypse.
Unfortunately, we haven't quite nailed down how, because that went too fast where it was almost nauseating, like the entire podcast. But it was great, and we sat and talked about his stuff in that episode.
Oh,
never
that's
air.
hysterical.
But
that's amazing. Do you know? Okay, this is just, you can cut this out later. What record did you listen to? Or do you
We listened
remember?
to several off of Bandcamp.
Okay.
We went. James Motter sent us down the rabbit hole.
I love James.
Yeah.
bro.
He was on the episode, and he was saying, "Go to this song. Now go to this one."
Dude, he came out.
It was awesome.
He came out with a pandemic record called Slamdemic.
Yes, we listened to part of that.
That record is one of the funniest things I've
Yeah.
ever heard in my entire life.
We listened to a Christmas thing, and didn't he have a Christmas?
Yeah, a
episode?
Christmas record. He's got a Christmas record, a pandemic record, a concept record about working out.
Yes, we listened to that one too.
Get Jacked.
You've named all 3 of them so far that we've listened to.
So funny.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. So,
I love him.
I'll try to put that in the show notes. Dr. Brutacalypse in the show notes. Maybe there'll be a mystery link in there for other stuff. Go ahead, dude. A zip file.
A zip file. Pass it.
Extra large. You're gonna want to download that.
Oh
first.
my god.
Don't worry about using some antivirus. It's fine.
Oh my god. John played guitar and piano, and he was getting super good in the music, and he was starting to make like his own songs and recording them on Audacity with like we were so not musically minded that like we wanted to record our songs, but we didn't know how, because we knew nothing about recording, or like we didn't have money. We were 9 years old.
Right.
We have no money. And what we would do is take like the computer microphone and like attach it to, or like have the input go to Audacity, and we put it over like a Casio keyboard, and we would have it on the drum preset, and we would do the hands and then the feet all in different tracks.
Yes.
And it's not a line, it's so bad, but like
Right.
the way that we did it was just to even try to get the idea across.
But that was a stepping stone.
It was a stepping
Yeah,
stone, because
yeah.
like you were like, oh, like I can create the stuff that I love.
doing it.
I can literally do it in my basement,
Yeah.
you know? And John was making songs and uploading them to MySpace, and I was just
so
like,
good.
I just want to make my own stuff, dude.
Yeah.
You know? And so I started making my own songs, and I wanted to be the singer so bad. Whenever I moved here to Texas, me and my brother, we formed a band called Perfect Vision.
Okay.
And it was so funny because all of us wore glasses. It was amazing. And
Perfect Vision.
we were like, we want to record like these 2 songs, and we were super into like, it was in that phase of like I'm now getting into maybe like Christian metal,
Okay.
like listening to like Becoming the Archetype and As I Lay Dying and X-Toll and all those bands. And so me and John never wanted to write anything that was cliche or cheesy. We wanted to make stuff that was like musically like
pushing barriers,
like dense.
Yeah.
Which is so stupid because those songs have no musical density to it at all. But we thought it was great because we were like, oh, the song's 7 minutes. We're smart. And I'm like, there's nothing here, you know. But we went to some studio out in Garland, and I highly doubt it's around anymore. It was so bad. But we recorded 2 songs, and the engineer was like, do you want to record to a click? Because I played drums for this band. I was like, no. It's just an absolute mess. But
a 7-minute song,
no click,
and you're how old?
At least 12.
Yeah, 12.
Something like that. No, I was at least 13. I remember the first year I was in Texas was 13. It happened in that
And your
year.
brother's John's how much older than you?
I think he might have been 17, maybe
Okay.
16. I forget our age gaps.
That's okay.
I just don't think about that stuff. You know?
Yeah,
He's still there, so
Yeah.
we're good. You know, but
You're equals.
yeah, we're equals.
Yeah.
We recorded there, and there was some stuff that they wanted me to do vocally, and I remember being there, and the engineer was like, "You kind of sound like a cartoon character," and that like destroyed my whole entire world of like, I cannot believe I ever thought I was going to be the singer of anything. I'm just going to be the drummer. Is your mic all good?
I don't know. It is now.
Okay, because I thought you were cutting out.
It was.
I thought that I was going to be the singer someday, but now I'm like, I have to be the drummer. I can't be a vocalist.
Something cool about that though, because probably made it when you found the chops to sing, but
Yes.
made you work to get there, and made you go through in a sense like the back door into becoming the lead singer. You had to do the drums first.
Yeah.
And it made you a better singer, I guarantee it. Made you
I
a better
completely agree.
Yeah, you have a rhythmic way of the way your stage presence and everything is almost, you probably wouldn't have had it if you weren't a drummer first.
No, I don't think I would have.
Yeah.
And if you listen to like really early City of Auburn stuff, you can see how you can definitely tell it's written by a drummer. And you can tell that like everything's really syncopated and everything's really into it, and the vocals just kind of soar over it.
That Soul Seeker?
Yeah, Soul Searcher.
Searcher, sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
like
sorry.
that first Soul Searcher EP is so weird, and we don't really play anything off of it besides Soul Searcher. But
Right.
that'll be on another record, so like we don't play anything like inherently to that EP anymore.
Right.
But like to write something that, because that first EP of City of Auburn was solo, and that one I was 18 when that was a thing. And all the other records since then have been with the band.
Right.
But I just remember, feeling like I was never going to be the vocalist after Perfect Vision.
Yeah.
And then during Perfect Vision,
the guy who apparently in your 12, 13-year-old head said you sound like a cartoon character.
yeah.
That could deter you quite a bit.
Yeah, it was. I remember feeling like I didn't have the voice. I just wasn't, I'm the drummer. This is where I'm going to be. And then Perfect Vision, like years later, I'm in middle school and probably 8th grade, and Perfect Vision's kind of like on its way out, but not really realizing it. And I kept bringing up like all these ideas that I wanted to do, and the band was just like, I mean, I just don't really want to do that. That's kind of a dumb idea or whatever, which is fine. There's disagreements, whatever. But I was like, I'm going to take all of my ideas and just start my own thing.
Yeah.
And that's how City of Auburn actually started.
And that was, you came out with Soul Searcher in 2014.
Yeah. I mean,
think.
so okay, it's weird.
But you
like
started-
City of Auburn officially is like 2014, because that's when that
Okay.
first EP came out. I have an EP before Soul Searcher. It's removed from the internet because it's so bad.
We've all had those there.
It is
albums
so
and bands.
horrendously bad. I should have called the album Symbols, because that's all you can hear. It's so bad. And it's not on the internet anymore. I refuse to play anything off of it.
Right.
It's ironic. I listened to it today, and it was so much worse now than I ever remembered it being. But that came out in like 2011.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I was a
Okay.
young kid.
Yeah.
And I just remember doing that EP. It was 6 songs, 35 minutes. I just tried to make it like super bloated and
And you did
whatever.
everything?
I did everything on it.
Okay.
It's to a fault. I did everything.
Yeah, but sometimes you need to do those kind of things to figure out how to put the band together.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it worked for Dave Grohl, didn't it? I mean, his first record
Yeah.
was that first Foo Fighters record was just him.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah. So like City of Auburn's been around for a hot minute, but like I guess officially like when Soul Searcher came out in 2014, that's when it kind of became a thing. But we didn't do live shows until like 2016.
Okay.
Because like that first EP did so bad.
Yeah.
And like it didn't age well. That I intended the Soul Searcher EP to be the last thing I do for City of Auburn.
And people started caring.
And the second that Soul Searcher dropped as a single, everyone was like, are you going to perform that live someday? And I was like, I thought I was on my way out.
Right.
And then Perfect Vision was no longer a thing at that point. I was in another band called Citadel. I played drums for a band called Citadel for a long time. And that disbanded. And that's around the time where Soul Searcher came out. And I was like, I think this is the only thing I really have right now. And people are actually like caring about it.
And did you do everything on Soul Searcher?
I did, yeah.
Okay. And that sounded great, dude.
Yeah, it's such a... Looking at it now in comparison to like where City of Auburn is now,
Right.
It's such a strange, very youth groupy type EP. It's very bloated, it's very dry, but there's a charm to it that I find nostalgic and sweet and innocent.
Yeah, don't get rid of that.
Yeah, like I just don't.
It's a good first step into you becoming who you were supposed to come, I think.
Yes, I completely
and where
agree.
you are now.
Completely agree.
During Soul Searcher, what was your main influence during that time, musically, art-wise?
I for Soul Searcher, I think it was probably Sub 7.
Yeah.
If anyone doesn't know who Sub 7 is, they're a band out of Oklahoma. They released an EP and a full length in the early 2000s, and
Kaylin talked about them too.
Oh my god, dude! I have never driven out of state to see a band besides Sub 7.
Interesting.
They did a 15-year reunion, and they played every single song that they ever released ever.
Really?
They played unreleased stuff that they played as a local band in the scene at the time.
Wow.
They played like 25 songs, and they only had like 17 released.
That's amazing.
And I just saw everything. I'm trying to do their vinyl, but they're not responsive. But
There's something special in it for you.
boy, do I have a show for you.
Ask your friend Jesse.
Sub 7 for sure.
And what was your favorite record by them?
This they have
They
an
had
EP.
one- they had an EP
one.
and an album,
Their
right?
record "Free to Conquer" is like one
Yeah.
of the most influential records of my entire life.
Yeah.
And I remember listening to "Free to Conquer" and "Mayday," and that's when I wrote Soul Searcher.
Okay.
It was like that kind of vibe. It's not really pop punk, but it's more like kind of an aggressive, like a very passionate kind of rock. And
It has heavy riffs with the pop sensibility, I guess.
and just very light, tasteful screaming.
Yeah.
And that record just changed my life. It's still one of my absolute favorites. And the EP's great too.
Yeah.
But that record is just absolutely influential. But I was listening to a lot of like metal, and around that time I was getting into Paramore like pretty heavily.
Yeah.
And I was getting that alternative flair with all like the tooth and nail metal bands, and then all
Right.
the little like. I was still, hoping that Skillet would come back at one point.
Come on, guys.
Like write the record, and it just never happened. But I remember listening to a lot of like Tooth and Nail, Solid State Records type stuff, because I was only listening to Christian music up until, college.
Yeah.
I didn't hear Bohemian Rhapsody till my freshman year in college, and I never heard Smells Like Teen Spirit till my senior year of high school.
That's interesting.
Like when I heard Smells Like Teen Spirit, I was like, oh my gosh, Jesus Freak is a knockoff of this song.
What a funny thing
I remember
that you remember
yeah.
listening to Jesus Freak
Yeah.
and thinking, this is probably phenomenal. I did too.
No, I think Jesus Freak is a great song, but I know it
agree.
comes from Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the Christians trying to like tap into
We
the
can do it
grunge.
too, guys.
Yeah, we can do it too, guys, and make it all about Jesus,
Yeah.
which is fine. Jesus Freak is great, but like
Yeah.
when you hear "Smells Like Teen Spirit," it just blew my mind.
Yeah,
it's
you're
like that's Jesus Freak, but like way better.
It'd be fun if you go, these people owe DC Talk some money.
It's like just get it completely reversed. I just love how I instinctively knew, like, oh, Jesus Freak totally came from this.
Yeah,
You know,
it
it's-
definitely was.
yeah.
It came in correlation with all those posters at youth groups that said, if you like Green Day, you'll love MXPX.
Yep.
If you, you like
If you like
Blink-182, you'll love
Nirvana.
Sidewalk Slam.
Yep.
If you like Nirvana, try Jesus Freak's album.
Yeah, exactly.
DC Talk's album.
I totally got the connection immediately, and I was like, oh, this makes a lot of sense. It kind of messes up the lore of my life, but that's fine. You know,
it's okay.
it's fine.
It's all hanging on by a thread.
It's all hanging on at the bottom of the boat.
Yeah.
But I remember Sub 7, anything Tooth and Nail, Solid State, Falling Up. You know, and I'm not a very talented guitar player or bass player. I do bar chords, and the bass just follows the top string, whatever.
You and me both, brother.
And it is just like, you know, I was limited, but also imaginative, and I think that that's why Soul Searcher EP has its like charm, even though it's like we're a completely different band now. But I felt like everything I did musically up until that point with every band I've been a part of, like I always have like some sort of soft spot for the thing I'm a part of, even if I thought it was awful, like some sort of soft spot because of experience or memories or whatever. But like I don't think I ever really felt like I created something that mattered in like a grandiose way until City of Auburn and Spin.
So that was my next question. So here we go. That came out in
18.
So there's like 4 years in between those two albums.
Yeah.
Or EPs.
Yeah. Not to cut you off. Between Soul Searcher and
You had an album.
I had an album. I had a full-length record.
That's right.
It's not on streaming anymore. That's another one I took off.
I forgot that you had that because I think I have a CD.
You probably have a physical of it.
Yeah, that's what I had.
And I remember talking with you and Kaylin at Cafe Brazil one time.
Yeah, baby.
A long time ago, and we were talking about records we've been a part of, and we were talking about re-recording that record.
Yeah, and you're doing that now, aren't you?
We are. Yeah, it's done.
Is that okay
Oh yeah.
to talk about?
Oh, 100%.
Okay,
We
good.
ain't got no label up our ass.
I mean,
you know, we good.
you talked about your dick. I assume you can
It's
talk
like,
about anything.
the records, we can't talk about that. My dick all day. I'll initiate it.
Let me ask you something about your dick, though. That's awesome because I knew you wanted to do that back then, and well, we'll get there. Let's get there. Let's talk about Spinning first because I think that EP is awesome.
Thank you.
And I think you found a producer that got what you were trying to do. You found the band to help you get there.
Yep.
Especially with Jay Shep, dude. And
I cannot do City of Auburn without him.
well, he is a force
He
of
is
all his
phenomenal.
own. So the two of you guys together really makes what I think. No shame to any of the other guys. I know. Much like Raven Hill, we've had different band member changes and everything. But it sounds like when you found Jordan Shepherd, I should quit using this nickname. That way people know who I'm talking about. Which he's going to be on the Gathering My Thoughts podcast if you want to go check that out. The two of you guys together have a very distinct sound, which I do associate with City of Auburn. Like, it's melodic, riffy, awesome. Like, geez, it's just, and you really saw it on Spin It. You really saw that. Whenever I heard that, I was like, in full transparency, you know, us working together for that EP, we had just kind of started talking about doing Honey Gold Records. We didn't even know what it was, and we knew, and we had not planned on working with any outside bands other than just our own.
Right.
But then Kaylin goes, I know these guys, that they have this awesome EP, and if we could help them in any way, and we heard it, and it was so good that we got to try to do something. Whether you're talking about Better Off or the Picture's my favorite.
Dude, I thought Picture was going to be the worst one. on
It's
the
my
Rick too,
favorite.
because that one was written the night before we left.
I remember you telling me this.
Mhm.
Dang it, sorry. I remember you telling me the story. Tell me that story. You're in the studio.
Yeah, so long story short, we had a quote unquote manager come
Right.
into the city of Auburn, and he also wanted to be our drummer, and he was promising the world in a handbasket. And he started listing off all these producers he wanted us to work with and everything, and I was like, I'm not trying to be rude, but like I don't want to work with any of those
Right.
producers. And he got offended. I mean, he got offended at everything, but you know, he was just like, what? Like, why don't you want to work with these guys? And I was like, I don't feel like they produce music. I feel like they produce trends, because a lot of the bands that they work with, they only last for 2 years, and I want to write a record that I can listen to 10 years from now and still sound fresh to me.
Right. Timeless.
I still want to sound like a band. I don't want to sound like some trend or some breakdown or some Warped Tour,
Right.
social whatever. I want to sound like a band.
Yeah.
And eventually that led us to go work with Matt Goldman out in Atlanta. And he's done Under Oath and Amberlin and The Chariot. And
Talk about our favorite Matt Goldman records.
yeah, honestly,
Jeez,
yeah.
God.
And man, like the Under Oath records alone. But he's done so
He's
much.
done Copeland too, right?
Yeah,
He did Beneath the Medicine Tree.
I believe so. I think he has.
I think he did Beneath the Medicine Tree, or at least he engineered or mastered.
Did
maybe.
something on it.
He did something on it, because I remember seeing his name. That might have been the first time I saw his name. I know that he was in Small Town Poets. Is that accurate?
That sounds accurate.
Or did he do?
I should text him. Be like, hey man,
Yeah,
we're
hey, dude,
live.
we're
Like, give me some info.
Yeah. No.
But he's done such a phenomenal body of work.
Yeah. It's
Incredibly-
almost too much to name.
Yeah, it's influential. It's reverent for the music I listen to
Right.
and the scene that I treasure. So when we were working with him, the way that it ended up going about was like this manager wanted to make us some metalcore band and was manipulating us to become this metalcore band. And when we finally were like laying down the law, like, you joined our band, we did not join yours. We want to be an alternative rock band, and that's what we're going to do. And we sent him a demo for a song that me and Jordan were kind of fiddling with, and he heard it, and he immediately was like, yeah, I'm out. I don't want anything to do with this. That ended up becoming Afterthought. He heard Afterthought and was just like, nope, absolutely not.
It's a good song.
I was just like, that's a good song, dude.
Yeah, man.
And
You should go listen to that right now.
Yeah, listen to
Pause this
Afterthought,
podcast.
yeah.
Go to Afterthought. You get to hear Stephen Christian's voice.
yeah,
on it,
Stephen
right?
Christian. We got Stephen Christian from Amberlin.
Yeah,
on it.
yeah.
And it's so good.
Second verse comes in hot. Almost does as good a job as this guy on the
It was
first.
so good.
Go ahead.
But like, at this point, all the money that had the down deposit for the recording was just all my money. And I was like, hold on a second. Like, this manager also became our drummer. So I kicked out my good friend drummer to like leave the band so we could get a
Right.
manager. That's already awkward enough as it is.
Yeah.
And then our bass player at the time was like, I can't stand this dude. There's no amount of success that'll make being around this guy worth it. And so he left. And now the manager that just kind of ruined everything now left. So it's just me and Jordan. We don't have a band, we don't have music, and we don't have any money. And we're supposed to go in and record a record in like 4 weeks.
To quintessentially one of your favorite producers.
Yeah, one of my
all time.
absolute
Right,
favorite
so
producers.
Yeah. So you're like, I don't want to screw up this opportunity because we have this booked, but I also don't want to show up not prepared.
Exactly. It's like I'm such a perfectionist, and I want
Yeah.
like I said earlier, I want everything that I do to matter. And I feel like if I go in and I don't know what I'm doing, then it doesn't matter.
Right.
And Jordan was feeling there's so much stuff going on in his life at that point.
Right.
And there was so much like anxiety over like, I want to do the band, I want to make the step forward, and I just don't know how to do it all and everything. And so we called the studio and basically worked it out in a way that like we got the studio time, and me and Jordan like took the plunge to be like, all right, we have to perform and record an EP in 3 to 4 weeks, and all I have is a first draft of Better Off and like the first verse of Afterthought or something. And so we don't have anything definitive.
Right.
And even Goldman's like, send me whatever you're working on. And we're kind of like we don't have anything that we've worked on, like we said. So But we wrote the picture in its first form the night before we left for Atlanta.
Yeah.
And we totally thought that Goldman was going to tell us to just completely abandon the idea. And that song's easily my favorite on the record.
It's so good. The melody in that's so good, dude.
Yeah,
You are great with melodies, but that one in particular feels nostalgic, timeless.
We were
like what you're going for.
Jordan was really nervous about the chorus because it's not a chorus where I'm singing at the highest point. You know, I honestly sing higher in the verses than I do the chorus.
You do, yeah.
But I was like, Jordan, I think this is gonna work. He's like, I don't know, man. And then Goldman added all these harmonies in the back that just made it sing, and I'm just like, oh my god, so good. I was so happy with it. But yeah, that was written the day before we left. It totally should have crashed and burned. Better Off was first draft. Afterthought was first draft.
And you wrote Joy in the studio.
We wrote Joy in the studio because like the
acoustic song.
Yeah, because they said, you know, X amount of money for 3 songs, but if you finish with enough time in advance, we'll throw in a 4th song for free under the condition it's just acoustic and vocal.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget this. I was in the studio freaking out because I couldn't write anything. Like I couldn't write any melodies or lyrics or whatever. Like I was so much pressure. But me and Jordan had already kind of like mapped out the instrumental because it was an idea that he had forever ago. And me and Jordan will usually bring ideas to the table, or I'll bring ideas to the table, and then we just kind of like talk about how we want the song structured. Once we kind of agree on that, then I kind of choose how I want the lyrics to go. Then he lets me know like, hey, this doesn't soar as much as I feel like it could have, or whatever. Mm-hmm. So at that point, we had decided on a structure, and Goldman, like we finished recording like 3 days in advance.
Yeah.
We had a week there. We were done by like day 4. And Goldman was like, all right, well, I'm going to go to a convention with my son. Whenever you guys figure this out, we'll get it done. And if you want to leave early, that's cool.
Right.
You know. And,
if you're here when I get back, we can do an acoustic song kind of thing.
Yeah. So we did like 2 days in the studio where we just didn't do anything because it was just because of me. It's like, I don't know what to write. And he was like, well, okay, what's the holdup? You know, what's holding you up? Why can't you write anything? And
this is the story I remember. We were on our way to Nashville, and you told me this, and I loved this, what you're about to say.
So he, I was like, man, I know it sounds so dumb, but like, I'm struggling to feel inspired. I'm struggling to feel like, I don't feel the passion or inspiration to write something. And Goldman takes his hands off his keyboards because he's mixing my epic in front of us or whatever, and he takes
band.
Yo, they're amazing. He was mixing their new EP at the time or whatever, and he takes his hands off the keyboard and he looks at me, and I'm in the doorway sitting on his throne, you know, and he's just like, Mike, amateurs wait for inspiration, professionals write, so I need you to lock yourself in Studio B and don't come out till you have a song. And I locked myself in that room, and I was in that room, I am not joking, like at least 4 to 5 hours. Everything is dead silent. All I have is me and the little acoustic demo, and I came out, and I was like, okay, I got it. And I recorded it, and then me and Jordan left the studio that night.
It's great.
And we walked away.
What good advice.
It was so good. There are so many times now where if me and Jordan are in a funk, we're just like, professionals, right?
Yeah.
And that just changed my life. To have like someone I respect so deeply to call me out like that.
Yeah.
To me, Goldman probably doesn't even friggin' remember. You know?
But that will be
that
was written on your heart.
Yeah,
dude.
that's the thing that I'm gonna tell like my kid if he's in the music, and that's the thing he's gonna tell his kid. Like it's gonna be amateurs wait for inspiration, and professionals right.
So many people are sitting there just waiting for it to hit them. And they never write anything.
Mm-hmm. They're waiting for something grandiose to happen. It's like, no, you have to make the grandiose thing happen.
Yeah, and what's crazy is inspiration comes when you start writing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's crazy. Now, sure, we've all been there where we go, how'd that write itself so quickly?
Right,
We've all had
like
those
inspiration can happen, but it can't be the backbone of your creativity.
No, because anybody can get inspired.
Anyone.
For a moment.
Yep.
It's whether you can do it. Like, how much have you worked towards this thing? To where, like, I kind of like the mentality is like, man, I'm going to write a lot. I'm going to throw away 99% of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yep.
but this is the muscle I have to work out. It's like me hitting the gym.
Yep.
It's like me, if I want to be, it's like me taking 500 shots before I even start thinking about dribbling a basketball. You know, like I've got to, dang it. I got to hone in that shot, you know. I got to, Steph Curry says he takes 500 shots before he does anything.
No, it's
day.
funny, like, to walk away from an experience like recording spinning, knowing that I just shelved 2 of the records I've worked on in my past, and kept one that's still kind of weird. You know, like having like 3 records that you worked on, poured your heart and soul and finances and whatever into. Granted, finances when you're 18 is different than now, right?
Right.
But you know, like, to get to that point where like just a guy you respect just says, grow the hell up and write a song.
Yeah.
Instead of, you know, well, I just want to feel this and feel that. It's like, I don't care. The mic's on. Do something.
I have a flag on my wall that says nobody cares, work harder. And I love it.
It's incredible, dude.
Every day.
Yeah, I think you cut out again.
Yeah. Let's fix that real quick. And this is great podcasting. There we go. This happens when you punch a mic. But I mean, obviously my kids feel loved and cared for. Right. Obviously he's not saying, I don't care about you. I don't, I'm not.
Right.
He just goes, hey, you just got to get in there and work, dude. This is the hard part. This is what separates us from someone that goes, I kind of want to make an album and I got some money. This is you going, I got stuff to say. I got to go find it. And I love that, dude.
I had this moment. City of Auburn played a show out in Frisco, and I had someone come up to me that I went to high school with, that he was also in the music and he wanted to tour and he wanted to do it, and he just never
did.
He never did. And he came up to me afterwards and he's just like, you did it.
Isn't that awesome?
And I'm like, I'm playing a show to a sold out, like at the Revel in Frisco, like sold out, opening up for some pop, the Van Full of Nuns, pop punk cover band.
Awesome.
Amazing people that have supported City of Auburn immensely. And I just remember being there, and this dude's like, and he's like, dude, you did it.
That feels so good.
And like, in that night, I was like, I always get so existential with music, being like, am I where I want to be after all this time, whatever. And to see someone like that I used to play music with, he's just like, I can't, like, you're the only person that stuck with it. I had the same thing happen to my drum instructor. My drum instructor, he always felt like he would pour himself into students, and like none of the students would ever like pursue music the way that he wanted to, like instill music into people. And he taught me how to play drums in 7th and 8th grade. So in 8th grade, you know, I go off to high school. He's no longer my teacher. He moves to another city in Texas to become another teacher. And I found his email like a few years ago, and I emailed it hoping that it was still him. And I'm like, hey, this is Michael Osborn. Is this Taylor? And he messaged me back with his address, his phone number. And it's like, let's get dinner. Let's catch up. And
that's awesome.
And I burped. This guy, I love this man.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always thought about him ever since, you know, middle school was done. Every record I've ever been on, if it had a physical release, I kept an extra copy of it for him.
That's great.
And I walked into the house and I gave him this stack of like 7, 8, 9 CDs, and his wife pulled me aside and was like, I don't think you understood how much that meant to him.
That's awesome.
Because he felt like all of the things that he wanted to instill into people went nowhere.
And it didn't.
And it, like, even for one student to walk away being like, here are the 9 records I've played drums on because you gave me the ability to do that.
That's awesome, dude.
You know, like that.
There's
stuff.
Something great about that, and there's something like people instilling in us when we're young, and now we're doing it to other people, like young bands and stuff like that. And your old friend from middle school or high school going, you did it. Mm-hmm. I love that. There's so many people back home that go, like whenever I come home and play a show, or they message me online and they go like, man, I'm so glad you're still making music. I'm so glad you made a living doing this. Because so many of them did it in high school, a little after college maybe.
Yeah.
And then they did what everyone else does, and I don't blame them for it.
No, not at all. There's nothing wrong with it. Yeah.
Is putting it aside because you have to. We can't. Music's tough to make money.
So tough.
And there's only so many exposure shows you can do before you start going.
And whatever.
I'd like to be married. I'd like to have kids. Yeah. I'd like to have stuff, like some stuff like everybody else does.
And whatever knowledge you do get will change in 2 to 3 years. And the ball game will be completely different, and you'll be lost all over again.
But it's so nice whenever those people reach out and go, "Hey, I don't know what I'd do if you quit." Like, I love seeing you do it. I wish I still did it.
Like, how many people are actually rooting for you?
Yeah, and in your head, sometimes you're thinking, they're probably thinking, that dude should grow up.
That dreamer is an idiot.
Yeah.
You know,
But they're not. More people are in your corner than they're not. You just don't. The silence is deafening. And,
yes.
But man, that's a great story. I just recently had a kid come up to me the other day. This is not about music; it's about baseball. London was in Little League, and I coached his team. And well, it wasn't London; it was my other 2 sons, and I coached their team. And we're talking about like real little kids. You know, they don't even. They're just figuring out the fundamentals of baseball,
right?
And what direction to run when they hit the ball. And there were some other kids that came up and practiced with them, or they were in the park, and I let them come play with us, and I taught one of them how to pitch, and I didn't realize that I'd made such an impact until literally 2 weeks ago. He came up to me at like a local at the Jamie Foxx Theater in Terrell, Texas, and he goes, "Hey, I don't know if you realize this, but he's like, do you have a son that has a birthmark here? His name's London." I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "You taught me how to do this, and I just want to let you know, like this is like 6 years ago." He goes, I now have baseball scholarships and stuff like that because you told me I could do it." And I was like, I was trying not to cry.
Yeah,
in
trying
his
to
face.
just lose it. Yeah.
I go, "Thanks, man. It's so good to see you." Just like trying not to be a weird old dude.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, can't get a picture with you.
Oh my God.
It was just weird, but it's so you never know
touching. Yeah.
What you're doing, and it matters when you take time to invest in people. But.
Stayed up all that night. I hate to see you cry, but you're so far away. I wanna take your pain. It's gotta be a way. If I can just get back to you, to make sure you feel brand new, but you're so far away. Gotta be a way. Did you forget that everything will work out fine? Do you remember you're worth more than what's left behind? what's left behind. Did you forget that everything will work out fine? Do you remember you're worth more than what's left behind? You've given me something and I can't replace it. All the words you spoke in my life, I can't feel the floor beneath me. I'm losing gravity. You are more than just a spark, and never an afterthought.
I don't want to keep you too long. So spinning, we go from spinning to you've released an EP. Where does it hurt?
Yes. Yeah.
And-
That's our latest EP, and
Yeah.
then we're
You released a song this last year too, right?
Yeah.
Where does it hurt? Tell me a little bit about that. I don't want to gloss over it because I think it's a great record.
Thank you. That's my favorite thing we've released. And wink, wink. I love that EP to death, and it took us a while to kind of like, because like when we were done with spinning, in like, I think that spinning taught me a lot over like finances and expectations and like, you know, what are the things that I actually lack, and like I just remember feeling like okay, I want to say something. I hope it's not holier than thou or conceited or whatever, but like Afterthought could totally be the credits to One Tree Hill.
Right.
It's like, and then like, you know, I felt like if the picture was released in 2003, it would have been a way more, because it has that vibe to it.
Yeah.
And
well, your music has that nostalgia to it too, right?
Yeah.
Which is cool that you're going for a timeless sound, because it does. It sounds like
Right.
It sounds like my high school. It also sounds like my college. Also
Right.
sounds like all those Goldman records that we talked that we liked has the feel of that too. Like it
Right,
seems like he
yeah.
puts that in there and he took that out of you, and you had it, and you had great ideas, and he was able to fashion them.
Yeah.
And did you do that record with Goldman also?
No, we did Where Does It Hurt on our own.
Okay.
Yeah, we did that. I mean, technically we did, like, we engineered it on our own. We mixed it with two people.
Okay.
Because like, it ended up being like, we went with one guy. His name is Lee. He's phenomenal. He's gone off to do way bigger things than us. He's great. But there was a lot of stuff that was happening, like, I guess, in the recording process, where basically, like, the last, like, 10% of the record needed to be done elsewhere. And the other 10% was done by my buddy Hunter, who recorded the vocals for the record. But we engineered it.
Okay.
Drums are fake by me. I mean, it's like me and Jordan programmed in the parts, and then me and Jordan were writing. But the aftermath of spinning was honestly kind of like a really bittersweet one for me.
Right.
Because
that sucks, because you poured your heart and soul into that record.
It was like, as like it's one thing to be a 21-year-old and have like $18,000 saved up, and you spend every last dollar on a record that like nobody cared about. And it just sent me into this massive like, what's the point?
Yeah, I've had this feeling.
Yeah, what am I doing?
Yeah.
And I remember me and Jordan were talking about, you know, re-recording Bloom, that record I took off, because that was going to be the next step.
Bloom, that's the name
Bloom,
of it. That's right.
Yeah. I have a record called Bloom in between Soul Searcher and Spinning that's no longer on a streaming service, but it will be back up, just different and better. And I was seriously like so depressed and so angry and so just fed up with how, like, people always told me, work hard, work like you're broke, always push, and I just felt like I did it for that. and it granted me nothing.
Yeah, still didn't work.
And I was just livid
I get it.
for months. And me and Jordan were talking about like, what do we want to do next? And I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And we were playing together at this church that we no longer play at because it's just awful. And Jordan started playing this riff on his guitar during sound check, and we were trying to figure out the time signature for whatever. And that eventually became the opening riff to Off the Block.
Yeah, which is a great song, dude.
That was the first song we wrote back.
Yeah.
And the entire song is about me being bitter and not wanting to write music. That's what the entire song is about. Because I was like, this is all I have. Like, the only thing I have to offer to music is my hatred for music right now.
Yeah.
And the
Enjoy.
Song, enjoy. You know, so like Off the Block is genuinely like Off the Block literally means like I'm trying to overcome my writer's block.
Right.
Like, just get off the block. And the song has like this duality to it where I'm talking about I am older. I am fully aware that I'm bitterer. I'm more bitter than last year. I am at a point in my life where I fully believe the best years of my life are behind me. This is all downhill from here. And feeling like, but I still have my life, and I still can sing, and I still can, so like don't let go of the moment of creativity, and that's what Off the Block is about. And I remember me and Jordan putting that together. Jordan pretty much put all the music together. I just kind of chimed in on like structures and stuff. But I remember us putting that song together, and it just rejuvenated me in a way that I just never felt music energized me.
You had a lot of energy in that album, you can tell.
There's a lot of like
Angst.
There's a ton of angst. I've never wanted City of Auburn to be like a sad boy band, but that record I feel like is very sad boy, and very like I have something to say because I'm really bitter and I really don't care if it comes.
I felt like you
across
had to make that record to get to move on.
Yeah, I looking back on it, I totally did.
Yeah. There's something about the. By the way, I think everybody in this room maybe has had that feeling that you went through, like that. What is it all? What is it all?
Like,
worth?
what am I doing?
Yeah. It was like,
you know?
It truly shows you that there you can work your ass off. You can work so hard. You can put all the blood, sweat, money, and tears into a work of art that you think like when they hear this. How they not?
Exactly. You feel so passionate about what you did.
And then no one does.
And you just get sounds great.
Yeah.
I'm like, screw you, dude.
Yeah.
I know
like,
it sounds
my
good.
Soul. but that whenever people say it takes a lot of hard work and then a little luck, and that little luck matters so much. It sucks.
It's painful.
Yeah.
It is painful. Like, dude, there's a band that's like, I can't count how many bands that I've seen who get like a year of like free touring and then they get signed. And I'm like, you guys have been around for freaking 6 months.
Yeah.
And you're
like,
dude. Okay, I'm gonna be real bitter. I just saw the 1975, you know, a few months ago when they came. Oh, I guess it's 2024 now. I saw them last year. In
ACL?
No, I saw them at the Dickies Arena in Fort Worth in October last year. The opener band was a band called Dora Jar.
Okay.
They were great. They were a great opener band. The 1975 has like 1.7 million monthly listeners on their thing. I forget what her number or their number was, but it was extremely small, extremely small number. And I look at bands like that. I'm like, you are opening up for the 1975 for their North America run, having virtually like I have maybe like half of what you do.
Yeah.
And you got that opportunity. It is like, at this point in my life, I look at situations like that and I don't get inspired anymore. I just get more bitter. And I'm like, I love that these guys got the opportunity with my teeth gritting. Yeah. I saw Paramore on like their last U.S. run for After Laughter.
Yes.
The opener band, I forget what the opener band was, but they had like 1,200 likes on Facebook. When my band had 1,300 likes.
Yeah,
I'm just like, who do you know? It's like, you know, I was like, I keep putting my heart and soul into my records and trying to be.
The cool thing about that though is that they probably picked them, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Wouldn't you like to think that?
Exactly. Like
It might be more
feel
political
like,
than that. It probably is more political. I'm an optimist, but it's
But
probably
I
more
also
political
feel
than
like
that.
if the 1975 says, I want this band to go on the road, the record label's like,
Yeah.
all right, fine, you make us enough money. It's
The
your
Door
stuff.
Ajar is this
Right.
no-name band, but they go, hey, I kind of like this band. I found them.
Yeah, like,
You wanna ask
let's
them?
take them out.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's what you hope it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you hope it is, because that's that luck. That's that luck.
That is the moment.
Right. Most happen like that. I think it's happening more like that nowadays than it ever has.
I completely agree.
Because you can do that whenever it's because of the internet age, right?
Yes.
And then you just hope that sparks for you.
Yeah.
You should know, like everyone in this room and everyone, plenty with the Honey Gold family that are out this room believed in your band the moment we heard those songs and we get the right people at the right time, with the right budget or right opportunities, you would be that. You would be every one of those. You put in the work. Hopefully a certain story in this podcast goes viral, and that helps you. That helps you get what you need. But all that to say, you're a band that's, I think, worthy enough to have those accolades. It just, and I would like to think there are plenty of bands represented in this room that have had those same thoughts you've had.
I know.
And would still put in the work.
Yeah.
And it just took maybe a handful of times. You've heard them probably ad nauseum with me, that bands would be like, "Hey, we'd like to take you on tour," and we'd be like, "Yeah, that'd be great," but it never happened. Like, and it wasn't for us like not trying to remind them that they said this.
Yep.
But they just never did it. I think they meant it in the moment, but certain things happened and it didn't happen.
There was a band we played with last year that came up to us afterwards, sold out show in Dallas. And they were like, well, I want to take you out on the road the next time we're in the U.S. Gave me their numbers, everything. I'm like,
waiting for that phone call.
Waiting for that phone call. You know, and it's not because I'm silent on my end. It's like, hey, how are you? Hope you're doing all right.
Good to see you. Came out to your show last time you were in town. Remember?
You know? Yeah.
I did the same thing, dude. Yeah, I did the same thing to all these bands. But you can't. You almost want to go, hey, remember when you said you took us out tour? What's up?
Exactly. Yeah.
We're
even better now.
Yeah. We practiced. We expected it. I have even. Well, no, I don't even go down that rabbit hole. I can be bitter too. All that to say.
Like, Words That Hurt's a very bitter, a very genuinely bitter record.
Well, I think it's great.
And yeah, well, it is funny when there's a song on the record called There Is Nothing, and it's probably my favorite one on the record. But like when we were done writing that song, I was like, I think I should go to counseling. I think I should talk about this stuff.
Yeah.
And because I was dealing with so much, but it just got to a point where it's like, oh my God, I'm miserable all the time.
Yeah.
Thinking about this burden and thinking about everything else that happens in life on top of that, whether it be relationships or family or faith or your job or, you know. And man, it was just like that record in a lot of ways was exactly what I needed at that time. And it still is giving me comfort today.
That's great. Well, I find my art also does the same thing. Like sometimes I go, ooh, I need to talk about that. I need to deal with that.
Yep.
There's plenty of songs where I go back and kind of go like, what was I writing about? Or maybe someone asked me like, what was that song about?
Yep.
And I go, now that I think about it, like that's not good.
Yep.
But I think that's how we process things sometimes, you know.
It totally is. That was our pandemic record. We were gonna go record our full length record, and we just were like I remember going up to Jordan. I'm like, dude, I spent $15,000-$16,000 on the last record. I don't have any money for the next one, so we got to do it ourselves. That's the only way we're gonna make it work. Right. And so that was the idea, and then we paid 2 people to mix it, someone to master it. Right. And it was a super cost-effective record that I think just sounds great. I think it sounds great for a self-produced thing. And I desperately think that we needed to make that to get to where we are.
Well, I want to encourage you that I think you're great. You're a great artist. The City of Auburn's great. I hope their bitterness has subsided a little.
It has.
Yeah.
The bitterness has gone away, but it's more.
I hope you still have that chip on your shoulder, dude. You need it. You need it.
I do.
We all need it. Okay. Going into this next, we're now. This will release. 2 episodes were released in 2024, but you are the first episode that we're recording in 2024. Going into 2024, what can we expect from City of Auburn? And hopefully, whenever you release your next thing, come back on here and we'll talk about it.
There's a lot of things that I have not brought up to the band that I want to do, that are kind of circulating in my mind. Really thinking about it, 2024 is 10 years of Soul Searcher. Or I'm sorry, 10 years of City of Auburn. And that is wild and depressing to me at the same time. But I'm just kind of like, what if we did live sessions of all the records that we've done in the past 10 years?
That's cool.
And then also thinking about, I mean, for sure we will have our debut full-length record out this year. I know that for a fact. We'll probably release another single soon. We're just doing some mixing stuff right now, but a new single soon. The new single will probably come after this podcast, honestly.
Yeah, okay.
We're going to do 2 more singles, and I know that we've been working on a cover EP. Or
Awesome.
Like 3 or 4 covers that we
That's
want to
cool.
record. Because we've been playing pop punk nights, and they
Yeah,
tell us
I
to do
saw that.
covers. And we have our own version of Mr. Brightside. We have our own version of Check Yes Juliet.
That's awesome.
And we did our own version of Move Along. And,
that's cool.
And it's I feel like these are kind of better.
Yeah. Well, good. And that'll drum up people coming to your sites too.
Yeah.
And
So
that'll help.
there's a lot of things that I want to do. I want to do a cover EP. I want to do live sessions. But I know that the priority right now is our full length and
Cool.
making that our the definitive City of Auburn album. And I think that it will mean a lot to me because that this record was one that I took down.
Right.
It was one that I did solo, and I just didn't do it right. And now going to go back to work with Goldman on it was like coming home. It was just these are songs that I've always loved that I've never heard correctly. And now to have James Motter and Jordan and our bass player Tommy all be a part of it, and to Tommy's he's doing vocals on this record now.
Yeah.
He's doing most of the screams.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's just to have all these different elements and flavors come back in a way that the first version of that record never represented. It's very, very healing for me. And
It sounds exciting. I'm
so
excited to hear it.
Yeah,
Well, let's not talk about that whole process because we can talk about it when you come back.
for sure.
All right, and maybe I'll have you and Jay Ship together. Maybe we have the whole band in here.
That'd be funny.
Yeah.
That'd be super
Yeah.
funny.
What are your social medias? Where can they find you? I want to make sure it'll all be in the show notes, but just in case they're just listening to the audio.
So our Facebook is just City of Auburn. We have right now, currently, we have a profile picture that's just blank beige.
Yes.
Same thing for our Twitter and our Instagram. Instagram is where we post the most. It's City of Auburn Music.
Yes.
And then on X, Twitter, whatever, it's just City of Auburn _.
Great.
Those are the 3 we use. We have a TikTok. We haven't done anything on it yet because I refuse to sell my soul yet. But
You will. We all do.
Don't worry. Facebook, City of Auburn, City of Auburn Music on Instagram, and City of Auburn _. We just released, not our most recent single, Indecision, is out.
Which is great.
I love it.
That's where that beige cover comes from.
That's where it comes from. Indecision's out. We'll have a new single from the new record out that wasn't on the old recording. It's a brand new.
Great.
So.
Cool. Well, thanks for being here, dude.
Thanks
I love
for having
you.
me, man. I
Thank
love
you
you too,
so
dude.
much for being everything you are. You are great. And we'll have you back here as soon as we can.
thanks for being in my circle.
Of course, always,
I
dude.
appreciate you.
Always. that meeting at Cafe Brazil. I remember saying,
Yep.
dude, if nothing else, if we don't even work together, I'm always in your corner, dude. I'm going to be in your corner.
Exactly.
So, all right, well, go check out City of Auburn. Go check out Gathering My Thoughts podcast. There's going to be an episode with you, and there's going to be an episode with Jordan Shepard. And, man, just go give this guy some listens, some love, and he might send you something awesome. Awesome. Well, we'll see you next time. Take it easy.